morning, everyone. I hope I'm visible and audible to everyone. My name is Sonalika Jivani. I'm IS of 2017 batch, posted in Delhi. I'm from Agmat Kader, and I'm currently posted as DC headquarters in the Revenue Department and also Joint Commissioner in GST. I'm from Delhi, and I appeared in the exam in 2016. So I appeared with geography optional. So here we are discussing about the same. So I request if Dimple wants to introduce and start, we can start. Dimple.
A very good morning and thank you for joining us. You already know this is Sonalika ma'am. She has cleared in her very first attempt. That was 2016 and she has cleared with 192 rank. So she's got huge experience on what not to do, right, in your first attempt and make it to the list, right? So please utilize this opportunity and ask whatever you have. First, we will begin the webinar with ma'am telling you what should be done, what should be the why to choose geography optional, how to prepare for geography optional, and then I would be taking you with the pedagogy at the EduKB. Then we will be keeping the house open for the question and answers. So thank you so much, ma'am. You may begin the session.
Okay, great. So I'll take you through some slides, but I request all participants to listen more than see, because we always want to have a very, very interactive session, because that's how we both learn. So first slide, I'll just move ahead with it. So these are the things that we are going to cover, as Dimple has said, that why choose geography as an optional, and how to prepare if you've chosen geography as an optional, how to prepare, what to expect, how to go about it. And then Dimple will cover how EduKemi will help you or what the pedagogy they are following. So that Dimple will cover, but I'm going to cover the first two aspects of it. And I request all of you to please listen and understand, because I don't want to go into the technical aspects, because I understand that you are now in the process of choosing an optional. So there will be no point of going in deeper into the subject. But what we are wanting to understand is what all you need to expect. What do you expect when you see geography? Okay, geography is a big optional. We hear it, we know about it, but what to expect at a superficial level? I'm going to cover all of that. So let's move on. So a lot of you who are preparing, you would be talking to your peers, and you would get to know that a lot of people from the geography optional, they cleared this exam. There are other subjects also in the league, I suppose. There is sociology, there's anthropology. Some people really take up PSRI. It has come up in the recent, say, 5 or 6 years. It has become a very, very popular optional, I suppose. But when you choose geography, we know that a lot of people say it is probably in the top 3 subjects of preference when it comes to UPSC candidates. And a lot of my peers also have cleared from geography optional. But why is that? There has to be a reason. One is empirical evidence. We have empirical evidence that geography is a very, very successful optional. But why is that? It is because probably geography is one of the only optionals which has defined boundaries. And that is very, very important. When you are expected to have substantial knowledge about one particular subject as a specialist. So geography as a subject has good boundaries, and that helps you prepare better. So it is important that any subject you choose has a defined boundary. Although syllabus is defined for each and every optional, but boundaries are not defined. So for example, an optional like anthropology may have slight indications of things that may come away from the syllabus or exactly not as per the syllabus. But as an optional geography, you can cover most of the things. So if you look at the syllabus of GS and you look at the syllabus of geography, you will find that there is a lot of overlapping. For example, if you look at GS2 and GS3, you have topics like globalization, uh, economic development, international relations, which covers subtopics like strategic locations, strategic straits, international trade, natural resources. I'm speaking this as part of GS2 and GS3 because we know that in GS1, geography is a major part. And of course, having geography as an optional will obviously help you to do very well in at least the geography part of GS1. Further, I feel that geography is a very core subject. Why? Because geography takes you back to basics. Geography takes you back to natural resources, how Earth was formed, everything. It covers the core of our human race and how is it going. So that's why geography gives you an overview of many other subjects, economics, of course, being one of them, socio-political climate also being one of them. So it has further repercussions in, say, how you cover other subjects. Also, it gives you a perspective. It gives you a fresh perspective to how you oversee or undertake the preparation of other topics. So geography is a wholesome subject. It is not limited to people behavior. It is not limited to human behavior. It is not limited to just the physiography. It is limited to physiography. It encompasses physiology as well as how humans interact with it. And that how that has implications all over the world in our lives, that is geography. And I feel that that is a very important aspect of our preparation, and it gives you a fresh perspective to each and everything, each and every topic of your syllabus. Further, many of you might have come across this term that geography is very scientific. So why is it important? Why is it important that a subject should be scientific? Because as humans, we should be logical. And a scientific subject helps us inculcate that. So as a science, so people from the science background are very easily able to handle, say, a traditionally humanities oriented subject. So it is for both science as well as humanities students. It's a very good optional, and everything is based on scientific principles, especially when it comes to physical geography. And hence it is easier to understand, it is easier to implement, and it is something that doesn't require a specialization per se or a prerequisite per se. So anybody who is looking, for example, to change their core area of, say, graduation, because I graduated from IIT Delhi, I did BTech. So I was not very confident about my core engineering subject, which was production and industrial engineering. So what I wanted was that I changed my subject, but I needed a subject which, for at its core or at the basic level, was scientific, so that because I was as an engineering student, I was equipped with handling scientific subjects, logic. So I had a natural inclination towards geography. So this could be another factor for you to consider whenever you are taking up geography as an optional, that it is necessarily scientific. In fact, it has balance of both. It is also scientific, and it is also historic or theoretical or evolution based. But essentially, it is scientific, and hence a lot of people from science background are very easily able to handle the topics which are covered in geography. Further, once you have kind of decided that you might want to take geography, so there is a lot of logical reasoning that we do in our minds. Ki maybe I'm good at this, maybe I'm good at that. Everybody is saying this. People are clearing from this particular optional. So all of these calculations are one side of the mind. And the last step, when you fill that optional in your UPSC form, is a leap of faith. It is always a leap of faith, especially if you are taking up a newer subject, which I'm sure many of us are taking. It is a new subject. So after all of those calculations, evidence-based, corroborative, good calculations, we will always have to take one last leap of faith. And that leap of faith can be turned into a surety. How that leap of faith can be turned into a surety is your own self, your own hard work, and your own persistence. So always understand that last step, you have taken that plunge. Once you have taken that plunge, be true and honest with that, the study of that optional. So in Hindi, it is called as Adhyan. So ultimately, you have to study that optional in entirety to the level of a specialization. And that can only come with change in orientation, change in your mindset. And after taking that leap of faith, binding with that subject is what you really require. So I get a lot of questions on from aspirants as to, you know, once we choose an optional, what if we are not good at it? What if we don't like it? What if you know, the optional is very difficult for us to manage? But I tell them a very simple thing, that we all know that this exam can be cleared by any average graduate from India. So you consider what makes you different is how much hard work and sincerity you show towards any topic. And this is true for GS also. Many times we think that, okay, this part is a little boring and I'm not very good at this part. But probably it is us, from us, it is required that we put a little bit more effort in that. And once we put that effort, once we cross that threshold, each and every topic and subtopic can become easier. And you extrapolate that to a subject. Once you take a leap of faith, once you take that plunge, after that, be true to that subject, immerse yourself in that subject, and you will realize that it is a beautiful journey. This in fact, every syllabus in every optional syllabus covers a very wide range of topics, and it covers it covers it in a very wholesome way. So you will just enjoy a lot of learning about the subject, each and everything, and the further applications or the linkages to the subtopics that you will have. You will start enjoying that process. So get yourself into those shoes and immerse yourself in the subject until you start enjoying it. And that is the key to mastering any optional subject. And geography is the brightest of them. So I'm getting a few questions. Maybe Dimple, can I take one or two questions?
Yes, ma'am. I'll just repeat the questions for you.
Right,
One question that has been asked is one is a working professional and has only 3 attempts left. As considering the geography optional is huge, the person is confused, as in, is it the right to choose geography optional because 3 attempts have been left and working professional as well?
Okay, whoever has asked this question, that 3 attempts are left, but you need only 1 attempt to clear this exam. So think through whenever you're choosing an optional. As I said, that we have to be true to an optional, even if you are changing it. I totally get that you probably would have gone through a lot of series of permutations and combinations and thinking in your mind whether I should do it or not. But if you have chosen, it's a very good optional. Why? Because geography, as I said, has boundaries. It has good material available, which is very easily available. It has good coaching, as we are all discussing about that. And also that it is a subject which can be easily covered in 5 to 6 months, provided you are ready to work for it. It is a it's a subject which can be easily covered in 5 to 6 months. Most of the topics have been coming down from years. Questions are twisted, but they are similar. The topics of the questions are similar. So if you follow a basic mentorship program, say coaching and mentorship program and test series, you will be able to cover each and every aspect of geography very, very easily.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Another question that is being asked is, what is the strategy for making notes for the geography optional for self-study?
Okay, so this I think we can cover in the next aspect, because the next topic is the same thing. So I will elaborate much more on that topic. So I think we can move to that topic next, because most of the questions are coming on that topic.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we come, I think we shall move. We come to the strategy for geography optional. Now, this is something that is dependent from person to person. So that part we will cover last. However, there is a basic structure, what we call tangible things that can be done for ensuring whenever you are plunging into geography optional, there are few things that have to be done, so that these are time tested things, so that you are able to at least cover the basics. And what needs to be personalized, I will come to that later. Okay, so first thing, for your entire preparation, what I would suggest is, students, that you should always have one mentorship, one kind of mentorship with you. Not saying that it should be something that it could be formal as well as informal. So why I say that is because during my preparation, Shabir sir was a great coach, and I used to follow each and everything that he used to say. And other than that, I also had someone like a colleague of mine who had given this exam earlier, so to guide me with what all I was doing right or wrong. So why mentorship is very important is because somehow, because this preparation is vast, we sometimes are lost. And when we want to come back on track, that mentorship helps us. That mentorship helps us to share everything, our feelings, our answers, our questions, whether what we are feeling is what everybody else feels or not, even that much. For that, mentorship is very, very important. So I suggest that all of you should try and have some figure who is able to guide you very well, who you are comfortable with, and help you in that strategy. So first and foremost, when you are taking a geography optional, we all know that it is a new optional for most of the people. So understand that you will have to put in a lot of effort, at least initially. Initially, this subject, any subject for that matter, but this subject particularly will require a lot of effort, because you are getting acquainted with the language of the optional, with the flair of the optional. Even in the same optional, you will have different kinds of parts which will have to be covered differently. So understand that it is a new option. Cut yourself some slack, but give yourself another more time, more effort. Try and give more effort towards the initial part of covering any subject, because I also feel that whenever you start with a new subject, the initial momentum takes you a longer way. So there is this concept that I have, that if you start paying heed to any kind of classes, capsule coaching, anything, if you start well, it will give you a big projectile jump when you come towards, say, the medium or the fag end part of it. So I firmly believe that initially you will have to put it much more effort than required, but you should put that, because that labor will bear fruits in the third or the fourth month of your preparation. So also understand that UPSC does expect you, at least in your optional subject, to be at somewhere between graduate and postgraduate level. So understand that in, say, 5 to 6 months, you have to cover something which a postgraduate in geography would probably read. So any subject has to goes through a hierarchy, goes from basics to concepts to complexities. So each and every stage is beautiful, but you have to go through each and every stage. So you have to ensure that your basics are strong. When your basics are strong, your concepts will be strong. And when you understand concepts, when you go towards the complexity of those concepts and how they could be singularity or not, so that entire chain you have to cover. So that, please be prepared that in any subject, specifically geography, you have to pass those 3 stages in a very casual way, but in 5 to 6 months. So you should be mentally prepared for that. Secondly, I would suggest that you have to do some labor. So why I say it is labor, because right now we have a lot of online platforms, and we have a lot of pre-cooked material with us. But what you do with those material is what defines you. For example, many of us have pre-printed notes, and many of us are attending online classes, but sometimes we don't make notes because we already will have some slides. Or but I suggest that you should always do the labor of writing. Please know that UPSC expects you to write for 6 hours for 3 or 4 consecutive days without break. It is exhausting. And if you don't have a knack of writing and the practice of writing, it would be difficult for you to perform on that day. So that labor of taking down notes, taking smaller things which probably the other people in the class might have missed, but you have written down, that will make or break you. That will change the orientation, the quality of your answers, especially in geography, because geography is so much interlinked with our current affairs. Each and every current development is somehow linked to geography. And if you are able to establish that linkage, if you are able to put it down into words and put it down in your notebook when you revise, I'm sure that most of your answers will be much better quality than others. So this is one very important thing, that your labor has to be done by you yourself. So ensure that even in say a pre-written newspaper article, for example, collated newspaper articles, or pre-printed notes, what you add, how you take your notes down, how you interpret those classes, is what makes or breaks you. So please do that labor. And especially in geography, it is very important, because the smallest of things, smallest of additions in your answer will make a big impact on the examiner, and it will differentiate you from other candidates. So please remember that. Third thing, in geography, your atlas is your Google. It's very easy nowadays for us to Google anything, but ensure that your atlas is imprinted in your mind. It is single most important thing, because it gives you a bigger perspective, both for India and the world. In geography, if you have a, a physical and a political imprint of the world map and India's map in your mind, I'm sure half of the things it will be easier to remember, and half of the things will be easier to understand, and hence most of the things will be easier to replicate. So it is very important to hang on to your atlases, going back to school and taking those atlases back out, and getting to know much more about those atlases. I also ensure you that it is a very enriching experience to open up school books, but infer much more out of it. It gives you a different kind of happiness altogether. So geography is one subject which can totally give you that. And I'm sure that most of you would be reading atlases as a cursory and giving it a cursory look. But when you dig deeper in the same atlas, you will find so many more things that are worth replicating, that are worth and so interesting that you will really enjoy that experience. So atlas is very important in geography. Then I'm sure most of you are aware about NRC. So for a common UPSC aspirant, NRC would probably be National Register for Citizens, but for me it is notes, revision and compilation. Why I say that, why I said I start with notes, because I said that labor of making notes is very important, because whenever you yourself make notes, half of the things you remember yourself, and in while you revise you keep on adding to it. So it's an exponential increase. Whenever you read your own handwritten notes, you will realize that you will be able to remember much more of it, you will be able to retain much more of it. So that is a very, very important thing. So notes is one thing, then revision is one thing. So revision is a key. Jitna revise, whatever, however much are we able to revise, the better. So there is no, nobody can say, okay, you revise say 5 times or 6 times. No, as till the last minute, the number of revisions you do is the more number of things you can retain. And now I come to compilation, because compilation is again a very, very subjective term. For some, it may be writing down everything in the book. For some, it may be compiling what has been given in the notes, what has been covered in the class. But what I feel is compilation, the aim of compilation is to do away with other things. Once I compile from a source, I want to do away with that source. What do I mean by that? I mean that if I have my class notes, if I have a book, and if I have say other printed notes, if I compile everything into one sheet of paper, I should be able to do away with those. It is a very, very important thing, especially in geography, because the syllabus is big, because it has information, it has more information than concepts, hence the syllabus is big, and we are not expected to read each and everything again and again, because we revise. Whenever we revise, we retain one part of it with ourselves, right? So in that compilation, what should reflect are the keywords. That is the most important thing of preparation in this examination. So whenever you compile something, you should do away with those notes. You should do away with the books that you have compiled from. And that is the key. So compilation, when you reach the exam, say if you have 1 or 2 weeks left in the examination, you are not expected to read the book again and again, because you won't have the time to read. So you will not have the time to check each and everything again and again, to read each and everything again and again. What you will really need is to have a kind of capsule of things that you want to cover, and that train and exercise to make your mind believe that you know all of these things, and keep on revising it. Of course, there will be times where you would want to refer back to the same thing again. There's no harm in it. But when you have 1 week left for the exam, or when you are revising for that point, that compiled notes will be your biggest assets. The keywords that you use in those notes will be your biggest assets. So the next advice is always compile everything that you read. Then I think we will come to a very particular thing about geography, is because we did talk about the fact that geography has inputs from various sources. So one will be your class notes, then one will be your coaching notes, one will be the notes which will be given by Educhemy. So all of this, and then you will have your books also. So there are 3 or 4 sources to each and every topic. So when I covered compilation, it also meant, it also same on the same lines, you have to make sure that whenever you compile from each and every source, you should have information about one topic at one place. And that is very, very important, because you don't have time to cover each and every book, each and every topic. You don't have time to go to and other books, other pages. Just compile everything in your own handwriting, or if you are comfortable with the online notes, you can do that also. But compile everything in one place and ensure that you are able to cover each and everything in one, say 1 or 2 sheets of paper, especially for a topic. In this, it is very important that current affairs in geography are very, very important, especially when it comes to the part 2, which is the Indian aspect of, say, physical geography or human geography. So in that, current affairs are very, very important. So all the major projects, for example, major dam projects, river linking projects, or freight corridors, infrastructure projects, mountain ranges, and geostrategic positions which are there, and all of these things have to be ingrained in your compiled notes also. So that is why it's interesting, because again, it is difficult in the beginning to interlink these things. However, once you get a hang of it, you will be able to do it very, very easily, and you will see an exponential rise in the quality of your answers. So this is another thing that is very, very important. So again, now I will kind of come to the notes that we are making. I know that everybody has a different style of making notes. That's why I'm getting into it. So I was also one of those people who used to make very shabby notes in the beginning, because I was like, we just have to read it. We don't have to do anything much from it. But please understand that these notes are your lifeline. So all of the compilation of notes and whatever you do, please make it good and beautiful. Don't make shabby notes. Try to make concise, pointed, and good quality notes. It will help you, because and that will be like printing a book for yourself. Printing, and you know why books are printed so beautifully. It is to capture the eyes of the reader, and that's what you have to do with your notes. So I don't think many people will tell you that, but it is very, very important to have good quality, proper, neat notes. Some people use different kinds of pens also, green pen, red pen. I suppose you use that. If it makes your notes beautiful, you are able to read and recapitulate more, you are able to retain it more, underline things that are very, very important. These things are very important when it comes to retention, and these are tricks of retention. If you write probably something with a red pen, you might be able to remember it more on that page. So because you will go through the same notes hundreds of times, please don't give yourself the punishment of going through shabby notes. At once, whenever you are preparing your notes or your synopsises or anything, please ensure that they are good, neat, and beautiful. And this will also help you in answer writing when you are expected to write good quality answers in good, neat language, and make it a very, very beautiful and pictorial kind of a view for the examiner. So try and inculcate all of those habits, because those habits cannot be inculcated at a later stage. So while you are preparing, this is the time to exercise and make sure that your notes are good. It's like a printed book for you to refer again and again and again. Also, I get a lot of questions on how to or what to read in books, because there is your coaching, then there is mentorship, then there is printed notes, but there are books also. So a lot of people are afraid, because the volumes of books are too much, but the content that we derive from them is very, very limited. Now, what I suggest is how to go about it. One very important thing is that if you have covered one topic in class, so you know what topics have been covered and you know the syllabus. Try and have a cursory reading in the book first. For example, if you have a look at geomorphology, for that instance, there are certain theories that are covered in the class. There are certain theories that are covered in printed notes, and whenever you are compiling, you will be compiling each and every one of them. But then you open a book, say Savindra Singh, there might be other people or geographers or geologists who might have given different theories. Have a cursory reading of the geomorphology chapter, whichever topic you are covering, and check that probably one or 2 topics might not be covered in class. That is something that you need to jot down. That is an important thing. Why? Because that will differentiate you. That has already taken you one notch higher than your peers. If you are in a class of 300 people and if you note that one other theory down, that already takes you one notch higher than most of them. So try and look for these things. This is a very important thing for you. So it gives you an orientation of how and what to read in books, and it also helps you to build a competitive advantage, and ultimately it's a competition. So you have to ensure that you are always at the top of your own class. And how you will do that is by gaining more peripheral knowledge. It is not, the core is same. Everybody knows what a sea floor spreading theory is. Everybody knows how the Himalayas were formed. But what else, what other perspective you have, even in that static portion, is something that will differentiate you. And please understand that there will always be a part of you in the answer that you write. And once you realize that, nothing can stop you. Always drive yourself towards having one more perspective on the same topic. As you do that, you will keep on building. How you will build? Because you will be dealing with higher topics, more topics than other people. You will be able to write them down. Even a keyword is essential. It can gain you much more marks than a normal person who would write, say, about Himalayan up the mountains, that the great Indian mountains that were formed, the greater Himalayas. You will always have another, if you have another theory which you probably read from a book, that will really help you. So how to read books, what to read in books is very clear. It becomes a little tricky, but tricky is beautiful. This exam, this line, please be very conscious of this, that whenever we say that, this exam or this part of exam is tricky, it is just that it is just requires a little bit more of effort, but it yields much more results than what it is. So whenever we say that this is reading books is a little tricky for us, if we don't know what to read, let me tell you that if you change your orientation and mindset a bit and overcome that feeling and try and get tangible things in your notes from those same books, you will be able to add much more to your answers. I'll give you a few examples later on, but I'll just cover my points first. Then a lot of people will also ask that which part of geography syllabus is important and which part is not important. So first of all, each and everything under the sun is important. Under the sun and beyond it is important in this exam. So there is nothing which is not important. In fact, in your optional examination, each and every line, even the syllabus that has been cut out, that was previously there but now has been cut out, is also important. It adds to your answer, it adds value. Because we can't say, how can you say that something in geography, some concept in a subject is not important. Everything in the syllabus is very important. In fact, if you are in that, you have gone into some kind of orientation or thinking, should I cover this or should I cover that, I have limited time, please zoom out and rethink your orientation, that you are probably not giving 100% in your examination, in your preparation. Because each and every single line, in fact, here I am standing and telling you that it is more important to cover other subjects, which are other topics which are not covered in class or which are not probably given in a standard textbooks. So each and everything is important and each and every topic is very important. Yes, it could be so that some topics are more scoring than others. That is a different thing altogether. But each and every topic is very important. And if you are doing a subject with utmost honesty, please cover each and every topic, and you will realize that why I call a subject wholesome is because of this, that don't leave any topic, and then you will understand the true beauty of this optional subject. Then a little bit about answer writing. that answer writing in geography is a little different from answer writing in general, because geography has a lot of concepts which are probably easier explained through pictures or figures or words. That is why in any geography book you will find more pictures than words, because it is easier for an examiner or anyone for that matter to understand what you are wanting to convey through pictures and sketches or flow charts. So understand that anybody who is say checking your answer script, ultimately when you write a mains exam, it goes to someone, it's a university teacher. So university teacher is checking, a university teacher checking your geography answer sheet. Imagine that. And what would that person want? That person would want that A, contents are correct, B, it is neat, it is pictorial, and third thing, and the most important thing, not for that person but for you, is that each and every question is attempted. All of that is only possible when you are able to concise everything in, say, 7 or 8 minutes that you have in for one answer. So you need to help yourself with pictures and sketches and flow charts. So answer writing of geography, you have to ensure that there is at least 1 or 2 diagrams in each page. One, I'm sure we will be able to manage, but replace words with diagrams so that you save on your time, and hence the examiner is also able to view everything, and without compromising on content you are able to deliver what is expected out of you. That is the key to scoring well in geography. But please understand that many people, they mistake uh, this aspect into we have to make a diagram. When you orient yourself in making a diagram, then probably you might end up putting up diagrams or sketches which are not useful. So it is important for you to accustom yourself to make up your mind and ensure that whatever you are adding as a diagram or a sketch is not just for the sake of it, but it is important that you understand and replace the words that were required for the same answer, and you replace those words with a diagram, and that's how your scoring will increase. So this is a very, very important thing. Maybe we can take 1 or 2 questions.
Yes, ma'am. I have compiled few questions.
Yes, please.
One question that is very interesting here is you have cleared in the first attempt, and many people take around 4 to 5 attempts for the examination. What mistakes you should avoid?
Correct. So first and foremost, please everybody should understand that one attempt also means 2 years. So let us have a timeline of say 1 year of preparation. Then obviously the 1 year also that you give the exam. So 2 years of preparation is good enough for anyone to clear this exam. So let us be very, very clear in our mind that it is very easy, in fact, to clear this exam in one attempt. But easy doesn't come easy. Easy comes with a lot of hard work, and there are very, very in each and every part of exam there is a difference in orientation, and I feel that that is something that I could get a hang of very easily. So for example, when you are preparing with the mains as your ultimate goal, because you ultimately don't get end up getting much time between prelims and mains. So your entire preparation should be focused on mains. However, you have to switch gears rather rapidly when you have prelims say 2.5 months away, because prelims is a different kind of ball game altogether, because you change from concepts to concepts and facts. So earlier you were just dealing with concepts, you were building on it, you were diving deeper into, but prelims is more superficial. Prelims is a mix of facts and concepts and current affairs to add to it. So that shift in orientation was required in prelims. Similarly, when prelims ended and mains preparation started, there was a different kind of gear that was important. You had to master answer writing. You had to have a good way or strategy of say linking things together and producing it in an answer sheet. And similarly, when you have cleared the mains, you have the personality test. It is rather everything that you have studied in the past 1.5 years, but you have to say it out loud. So the biggest thing that you should do in your first year at least is to identify and understand that each stage of this examination also requires a change in gear. And once you start doing that, I'm sure you will be, and obviously you have the right mentorship along with it. I'm sure any person can crack this exam in the first attempt itself.
Thank you so much, ma'am. There's another question, that is, how many times should one person revise the geography optional before appearing in the mains examination?
So that's what I think I covered, that revision is never enough. Revision is never enough. The more time you get to revise, the better. I cannot say, probably your retention power is better than mine. So I work more on retention, but at the same time you work more on answer writing. So please understand that you have to be above average in everything, so that you could be average in one if you make some mistake in the examination. So with that perspective in mind, there is never number of revisions. There is how much are you able to retain and interlink each and every subtopic in geography. So that is the key. If you are able to do it in 5 or 6 revisions, good. But I suggest that the time that you are going into the examination hall, one should be clear that I have revised enough. If you are satisfied with your revision, that is enough. That is why I always say that this is also an examination of your own personal awareness. You have to be very, very honest with yourself as to how many revisions, how many times should I revise? Have I revised enough? Each and every person will have a different perspective, but you should know about yourself, and that is the most important thing.
Those who are looking forward for the questions answers, like मैम आपको कितना टाइम लगा पढ़ने के लिए, मैं कितने आंसर्स लिख दूं, मैम ये लिखना सही है कि नहीं है, let me tell you, if ma'am is repeatedly emphasizing, not everybody is same. Have you if ma'am takes more time in revision, she might have the strength, and might be answer writing might be her strength. If you take less time in revision, answer writing can be your strength. So there's no one fixed formula कि 2 महीने में ही रिवीजन होना चाहिए या 4 महीने में रिवीजन होना चाहिए. It all depends on how far you've been able to manage, but there are key essentials which ma'am has pointed out. Ma'am, with this, if I can take the pedagogy at...
Yes, you can start with it, and then if there are any further questions, you can let me know.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. So if I talk about the pedagogy at Educhemy, the way we conduct our classes, one of them essential is the live and the interactive classes, wherein students are continuously asking their doubts in the chats. There is daily revision every day after the class. The next day of the class has some limited portion for revision and the clearance of the doubts in the class itself. After the class, daily class handwritten notes are provided. Along with that, there is a support of the handwritten model answers, right? So as to get the feel ki how much should be the intro itna bada hona chahiye, kitna bada hona chahiye, diagram kaisa hona chahiye. They're not the printed model answers, but the handwritten model answers, so as to give you the look and the feel of the model answers. There's also an approach of incorporating the current issues and the contemporary issues, which we try to do by telling you about the daily MCQs. There is a daily MCQs as well as the articles which are posted for the contemporary issues. Then there is, after you've taken an admission, there is a commune or the closed telegram group wherein the student can ask their doubts. We handhold the students about how to go about it for the optional. So that, and even there are peers, so you have a competitive feel also about how to go about for the optional there. With this, I would tell ma'am to take some of your questions. So one question has been about, ये भी लिख सकता हूँ, वो भी लिख सकता हूँ, सब कुछ लिख सकता हूँ, but क्या लिखूं और क्या नहीं लिखूं?
That's a very, very genuine feeling. So let me, whoever has asked this question, Let me tell you, it's a very, very normal and a genuine feeling that comes when you have not revised. Okay? So, unless you revise, you will understand that what is relevant and what is not. Once you revise, you will be able to understand the differences between what to write, what is relevant in something and what is relevant in not. They might be very, very similar concepts, right? So answer writing is essentially number one. You should be able to form English sentences, or if you are giving an Hindi medium, you should be able to form Hindi sentences. That is important. Please understand that there is a lot of effort that goes into forming logical sentences also. So that is number one. Number two, you should be able to sit for 6 hours and write. So first do these two things. That is the most important. Then when we talk about what to write in an answer, when it comes to GS, topic wise keywords should be in your mind. Topic wise keywords is important. They should be replicated. Simple. When you have concepts clear in your mind and keywords handy, then only you will be able to write a correct logical answer. So that is number one. For geography, it is important that for static portion, you have model answers. And how do you make model answers is you open all of your books, all of your notes, you copy what is relevant. You literally copy each and everything that is relevant, make a compilation of it and imprint it in your mind. That is how at least the static portion of geography will work. With respect to the more contemporary portions, or the say economic development part of it, or the globalization, trade, international relations part of it, it is important that you link your GS study with your geography study. So apart from the static portions, say settlement theories or rimland theories, so apart from these things, how these theories are important in the current times, that one or two lines should be there in your geography notes. And if you have that, I'm sure you will be able to write very, very good answers. And this is the trick to how you link each and everything again and again, is by compiling everything together. Say maybe it may be form of an answer, model answer, or it may be in the form of notes, and then you keep on revising it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for being a part of this session. Your knowledge and all the pitfalls to be avoided, the right strategy. Thank you for addressing the students. Yes, those who have some queries about when is the next batch starting, there is a link that has been shared with you on the chat. You can follow that for the number of the classes and when are the classes starting. Thank you so much, ma'am. Have a good day. With this, I would be taking.
Simple. And it was a wonderful session, and I really want to wish each and every person who has logged in to first of all congratulate them for taking that step of getting into the preparation. It is a beautiful journey for everyone, even if you clear or not clear. Of course, if you clear, it's a great thing, but even if you don't clear or whatever, it is a great journey. It is a great step to take towards knowing oneself. And I always say that ultimately the 4 pages of syllabus is not what is expected in this exam. It is what you are as a person, and that is tested through a back-breaking syllabus, hard work, sincerity, your knowledge, your all of these things combined can only lead you to success in this examination, and that is what is probably expected from an officer also. So I urge all the participants that, start thinking like an officer. Like, how would you be, what qualities do you expect from a public servant, and that should be your ultimate aim. And I'm sure if you inculcate those values in your study, being honest with that study, I'm sure most of you will be able to clear. And I wish each and every one all the very best. And for anything, you are all free to contact me, and through Educame, I will always be there. And I hope that all of you do really, really well, and all the very best to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes. For those who are new to EduChemie, let me brief you a bit about EduChemie, as in about what is EduChemie and how do we carry forward. So EduChemie is the India's first non-STEM focused edtech startup, wherein we are offering an immersive and the personalized remote learning experience. So you can be at your place at the luxury, and you will have an immersive as well as the personalized learning experience. With this, our aim is also to scale up the learning experiences for the students so that each student realizes it's her or her own maximum potential, which will help the student to achieve the success. So be at your home, be comfortable, and get a personalized learning experience. Then why do we differentiate? What is the difference between a traditional coaching model and the emerging online platforms? So example, let's take about the traditional coaching models, wherein you will have to come back and then learn. But apart from that, apart from the struggles that a person has once the person gets into the the congested places and the other non-food and other aspects, herein you at the luxury of your home can be comfortable in uh, preparing for the examination. So we offer a unique ecosystem with where there is a connect of the traditional coaching model, personalized feedback, interactive sessions, and also the mentors for helping you in your preparation. Uh, this the EduChemie is moving beyond the traditional coaching models to an online platform, and wherein we also take into consideration the seriousness of the examination. What are the EduChemie advantages? Live interactive classes. We focus on the conceptual clarity. There is an integrated preparation with focus both on the prelims as well as mains. With the test series and of prelims and the mains, there is regular test, unit test, and assignments. We are covering the daily newspaper via our gazette. There are dedicated current affair classes, the handwritten answers, model answers, and the notes, as well as you can view the classes. In case you have missed something, you can view the classes with unlimited number of times. So being at the luxury of your home and also getting a personalized learning experience is something that we aim to offer, and to handhold you with the right mentors in place. With this, I would like to conclude the webinar. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, ma'am, for being a part of the session.